on that, Simone, like, you see this Genesis news? I mean, people are like, how do you know that it's officially bankrupt? It's like, somebody's like, well, it's not the same as FTX fraud because it's not a fraud and I have a Genesis account. It's like, well, you didn't say the last part, but typically, people make these kinds of comments, but it's part of a fraud, right? I don't know. First of all, I don't know if Genesis is a fraud. So let's just put that on the table, or crypto.com or BlockFi, whatever happened at these places. I don't have to know that there's fraud. All I have to know is that they aided and abetted fraud. So it's like the old, it's like the, when the authorities finally raid the whorehouse, even the piano guy gets taken out. It's like, yeah, it's that's what I'm thinking here on Genesis.
Yeah, I mean, maybe another way of saying it, and it's kind of a, I don't want to say a passion of mine, but a concern of mine for anyone dealing with these objects or with this part of the markets. It's really all about counterparty risk and trying to eliminate that. So we're to mitigate it to the greatest degree possible, which by the way, again, I know I say this a lot, but it was really kind of like how this whole movement was birthed in the first place. And then somewhere along the lines, I think a lot of new entrants into the space kind of like lost the plot. But just rewinding the clock, like the entire idea behind Bitcoin was to have like essentially a neutral asset that's non-politically or non-co-optable by an interested centralized party, and to take custody of it yourself as a bearer instrument. The way to do that, again, is to take custody of your private keys and remove them from a hot wallet or a centralized exchange where you really don't have ownership over your asset. You have an IOU effectively. And so if you have an IOU, implicitly you're making a bet on that counterparty both remaining above board itself, but also not doing business with anyone else that's not above board. And that's kind of where Genesis, irrespective of whether they themselves committed fraud, we don't know for sure, did business with counterparties that did commit fraud. And so like, if you trust them with your funds, you're putting yourself at risk when you don't have to. I guess that's how I would round it out.
Today, every day we comment on this. We've been commenting on this for a year. It's not new. Like it's just every day people who have no experience in markets are realizing the lessons of markets. If you want crypto to be a market, you're going to have to be able to short sell a market, understand counterparty risk, understand, again, correlation risk. These are basic things in markets that a lot of people in crypto know a lot of things that I don't understand. But let's start with them starting to understand the basic realities of regulated markets. Okay? Then let's talk about how cool Vitalik is. To me, it looks like a crackhead, but I mean, looks don't matter. I mean, he could look any way he wants, but it's interesting. It's not surprising to see people start to understand, or the hard way, why we don't have to know if Genesis is or is not a fraud. That's it. That's the point.
Hey there, Hedgeye Nation, or if you're not part of Hedgeye Nation, thanks for watching Hedgeye on YouTube. If you haven't already, make sure to click on the button below there. Subscribe to our YouTube page. You can also follow the link in the description to our website to get even more great investing content.